What the fuck video are you playing?
That's the alien move. Yeah. All right. There we go. Okay. Test 1, 2. We're just gonna kick it live streaming here for an audio test and see if we have any talk back or what's up, Tom?
That was creepy as fuck.
Yeah. Well, I'll put it back. Here you go. You get it back. There you go, buddy. All right. So, like I said, I was messing around a little bit with this last night, but I really didn't touch on the audio stuff. It's just broken. This shit just broke. All right. Sound better? How's Frank sound?
I'm pretty loud, but you're pretty light.
Okay. I can fix that. Gotta take Frank down a notch. Damn it, Frank. Quit shouting, man. All right. Let's see. All right. Try now, Frank. How you sound, buddy?
Testing.
Better? Bettissimo. And of course. Yeah, I sound light because I'm way away from the microphone. But when I get right up on it like this, I'm like, yeah, what's up? Yeah, what's up? All right.
Okay, I think it sounds good. It's too hard to tell because there's a delay in the stream, so it's switching back and forth. But I sound good, and that's the only important thing.
All right, that's the only thing that matters. All right, here we go. Action.
But I think the development of full artificial intelligence.
No, fuck that. Let's just do this. What's up, guys? It is Troubled Minds Radio, and this is better, I guess. All right. So, obviously, technical issues. So we're gonna work through this, and hopefully, you, yeah. I'm a loud bro. I can be a loud bro. But okay. So, yeah, let's do this, Frank. Let's talk about some things, man. Let's, what should we do? How do we do the abbreviated intro here? You want to take this one?
Okay. Let's go. Yeah, are we doing a show? I wasn't sure about that.
I don't know. We're testing.
Okay, fuck it. Let's do it.
Fuck it.
Let's
come back and do it tomorrow.
Let's stop the intro. No, we might as well do it now. Let's stop the intro. Let's stop all this nonsense where we talk about ourselves. Let's just look at the issues. So what do you say we open up this? The FBI has recently arrested and convicted a man deadly bombing. You see this one in here, justice stuck out. Let's pull that open.
I do see that. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see.
So this is, again, so I guess we're just testing. We're just kind of fucking around. But I found this incredibly interesting. So it looks good. You read through this. Some guy tried to pull into a parking lot at approximately 1 a.m. on August 12th. And then he attempted to detonate what he believed to be explosive laden van. So he had bombs in his van. He believed them to be explosives. And then the FBI swooped in and arrested this guy, right? So that sounds good. Nothing wrong with that. They got a terrorist. They caught him.
They got him. I did see this, actually. So here's the terrorist. There's a picture here of the terrorist. Oh, there's not. There he is. All right. So they swooped in and they got him, right? I did see this, and it does seem that something is amiss, right? This doesn't seem like it is. It seems like maybe more FBI fuckery. Is that what's going on? I'm not exactly sure here.
Yeah. So again, look at the website. Look at the domain name, justice.gov. They're saying, "Hey guys, we got a terrorist. Pat ourselves in the back. This is a good story. Everything's okay." So we should be looking at this and thinking, okay, the FBI is great. You read into this just a little bit more. Open up this oklahoman.com. Attempted bombing suspect's family issues a statement. Okay, so we got the family's taking the story now. So what's going to happen here? Can you take a guess?
Yes. Well, I read it, so
because I showed you this before. This guy is a schizophrenic, so he can't even think for himself. He's under control of his family. He doesn't have his mental rights. What's the word in the story here? They've signed over his health and safety to his family because he can't take care of himself. So the FBI finds this patsy, and that's exactly what this guy is. He's a patsy. They find him. He's a schizophrenic. They convince him to do this. They convince him to build a fake bomb. They give him plans for a fake bomb. They give him the van. They tell him where to go. They tell him when to go there. And this guy, again, he's a schizophrenic. He doesn't understand what's going on. He's mentally disabled. They tell him to drive to this building. They tell him to press the detonator. and then they swoop in and arrest him. This is quite a different story. The FBI is engineering criminals for themselves to arrest. This is ridiculous. So this is the quality of the FBI. This is what they're doing. And it's no wonder that Epstein's dead, is it? When these kind of whack jobs are running the country.
Yeah, it seems like we kind of kick this bucket around once in a while. And is it really that everything's a giant conspiracy, or is it really that our government is just that unbelievably stupid? And here's another situation where we're picking on mentally ill people. Was he actually going to bomb this thing? You know what I mean? Like I think those details kind of come into question.
He was going to. Yeah, he was going to with a fake bomb, but it wasn't his idea. He didn't come up with it himself. The FBI told him. The FBI gave him the plans. The FBI gave him the materials. The FBI gave him the vehicle. The FBI gave him the target. So when you say, was he going to bomb it? No, probably not. But he has no idea what's going on. He's crazier than I am, and I'm pretty crazy. So you see here, this is just disgusting. So, why bother finding a criminal when you can just make one for yourself?
Yeah, so this is and not only the only time. This happens often. Like, we can go back and it's crazy, right? So it's the ones they don't catch, they do massive damage. And then the ones that they do catch, you wonder if they would even do this thing if the FBI isn't radicalizing people themselves, right? So this entire thing again leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But it's not new. This is not new. This has been going on. Like, we can go back. We can probably do an entire 2 or 3 or 4 hours on just the incidents that happened where the FBI kind of led people on to, gave them the materials to meet with radicalized people and do this, do that, and then pulled the cord at the last second. It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
It speaks to the larger issue of mental health in the country, too. If someone is out there and can be convinced to do these things, who's to say ISIS, who's to say Russia, who's to say China couldn't convince this guy to do this thing, but actually give him real materials, give him a real bomb to blow up? You never know. Could happen. So, there's the issue of mental health with all these home run hitters in these schools using coded language here. This is the issue. It's mental health, and we got to take care of this. But the FBI, they're fucking useless. They really are. Unless this is some kind of psyop to convince people they're stupid when they're really smart. I have no idea. Kid's in jail. A schizophrenic kid who can't even think for himself is in jail because the FBI engineered a criminal for themselves to arrest.
And so now, what kind of fallout, right? And how many more? What would you call this? This is like catfishing mentally ill people, right? That's basically what this is. On our government dime. Unfortunately, this is sad. This is terrible. And again, like I said, we could pull up issue after issue, time after time, where this continues to happen. And yeah, this is Kelly says, "What's up, Kelly?" He says, "Why are we as the citizens of this country allowing this to happen?" And that's a hell of a point there. Because why are we? Why should we? Test. Holy shit! Can you still hear me? Can you hear me, Frank?
I can hear you. Yep. You'll have to tell us if you're listening. If anyone's still listening, is the audio good? Is it all fixed? Can you hear everything? Yeah.
Yeah. Sound check.
Let's move
Sound
on
check.
to the
1,
next
2.
story.
Okay.
Sound check. Test. Let's move on to this next story. We're just doing a lyrics. Let's open up. Sacha Baron Cohen uncovers pedophile ring. You see this one? Let's pull this one up.
I got it. I know that guy. Isn't his name, what's that guy's name?
Borat.
Borat. That's Borat.
Exactly.
Yes.
So this guy's, in case you're not familiar, this is Borat. He plays a role. He takes method acting to the extreme. So with Borat, he actually pretended to be this backwoods villager from medieval Europe, running around experiencing America for the first time. He's done it before, different performance acts. What else has he done? He's pretended to be like some kind of a Jewish nationalist, and he's pretended to be a whole bunch of stuff, and he does it to the extreme, to comedic effect, and that's important for the story. Can you think of any other roles this guy has kind of played in?
Yeah, he's Borat. He's Borat. He's actually done all kinds of things where I remember that one time where he was interviewing Paula Abdul on that HBO show. I can't remember what the show was, but he had like a manservant, like kind of on all fours as her stool. So she sat down on this guy's back and then did the interview. Yeah, that's Borat for you. That's Sacha Baron Cohen. He's just a funny guy.
It's kind of exactly, but he's taking, and this is important for the story as we get into it. He's taking this method acting to the extreme, sometimes to the obscene extreme. So let's look at this. He was playing a role. He was in Vegas. I think he was playing a role of Geo, who was in Las Vegas, and he was explaining to this concierge in Las Vegas that Geo, his character, had molested an 8-year-old boy. And then he said, hey, and he starts talking to this concierge, and he says, one point, can I get another boy? Can I get another boy sent up to my room? Something like this. Let me find the exact quote, but it's not important. Essentially, he asked the concierge to get a kid to have sex with. And the concierge, he set him up. He gave him the details. He told him who to call, who to go to. So what does this guy do? He's disgusted, clearly. He's absolutely horrified. So what does he do? He reports it to the FBI. And then can you guess what happened?
It says it right there. FBI refused to investigate. Of course. I wonder why, right? Did they know it was him? Of course not. They couldn't have, right? Okay, now this is the paradox of things, right? So here we are with, it's either they know way too much about us, right? They're like tapped into all the digital servers of all the giant technocracy, right? The big tech corporations, Facebook, Google, Twitter, like they know our every move, right? That's what the government knows. Or they know absolutely not a goddamn thing, and it's just a giant shit show, right? I don't think there's an in between here. Maybe they want to go from shit show to knowing every single thing we do, but I don't know. It's ineptitude. This drives me nuts, right? There's a Anyway,
it's worse than that. Let me cut in there. It's willful ignorance. It's willful ignorance on all these topics. They know what's going on. They can tell. Like this, he reports this to the FBI. So let me clarify. Let me read the exact quote. Geo, the character Sacha Baron Cohen's playing, asked the concierge to set him up with an underage boy as a date. This is from the article. After this, the concierge offered to put Geo in touch with a person who apparently regularly procures such boys for hotel customers. And then he turns it over to the FBI. So this is a real person. This concierge, this is a real organization providing these boys, and this happens on a regular basis at the hotel he was staying in. And the FBI refuses to investigate. This is disgusting. This is how I think this whole technology thing, I think this, the CIA and the NSA monitoring all our communications, all this data has made these people stupid. They've forgotten how to do basic investigations because this is a tip from someone in the public and they ignore it. I don't know what to say.
And well, not only that, they're too busy trying to undo the last election from 2016 and then meddle in the next one. You know what I mean? Like this is ridiculous. This is why we should be in the streets like Hong Kong. Like, have you guys been watching Hong Kong? You've been watching Hong Kong, Frank? Just to maybe make a little quick segue, little dog leg here. Are we? Should we be in the streets like Hong Kong? Like they're fighting for their freedom over there. And they're about to get run down by tanks. So, like, how much of this do we have to take before we finally take to the streets and say no more of this crap? Because they did, like this, just like you said, this individual, method actor, comedian, this guy uncovered a pedophile ring right here in Las Vegas, and they don't want to know about it. Why don't they want to know about it? Is it really willful ignorance, Frank, or do you think it is some sort of cover up? Do you think they know that it's a big part of the economy, you know? I don't know, like this this stuff.
Yeah, the local mayor, the local senator, local politician, he's in on this. The FBI knows he's in on this, and they say, well, we can't arrest him. That would cause problems. That would cause issues. We can't do that. So they ignore it. They refuse to investigate. Now, okay, that's basically it for this story. But take those two stories in context. The FBI engineers criminals themselves for them to arrest. And when they do find some, they refuse to investigate. So what is the purpose of the FBI? They have to engineer their own criminals, and they have to ignore real criminals. Something about that doesn't add up.
Yeah, it's completely upside down. We live in the upside down. How many times do we say that, where the things that should be happening are not happening, and the things that are happening, why are we ignoring? It's just like, okay, Okay, what's up? What's up, guys? Quick shout-outs. We got Timothy, we got Kelly, we got Tony. What's up? Thanks for being here, guys. We got Shane, Fred. Hello. Sean says, sounds good. Yeah, thank you. Steven, what's up? We got, who else? We got, we got Tamron. Hello. We got Philip. Thanks for being here, guys. We got Christopher. What's going on in here? You already know what's going on in here. This is the terrorists and criminals of the internet here. We got, who else? We got Paul. What's up, Paul from Texas? We got Larry and Candy. Hello. Diane. Hello, thanks for being here. And we got Saint Traeger on D-Live. What's up? We got the copper mustache. Come on, he is so famous. You're saying the FBI can't spot an actor? No, come on. You missed. What's up to Copper Mustache on YouTube? Let's clarify. You missed the story. So he was playing like he was a pedophile as an actor, but he actually uncovered a real pedophile ring in Las Vegas because they were actually trying to arrange to bring him a boy. Am I right there, Frank?
Yeah, exactly. He's out there. He's he's playing a Borat character, except instead of an ignorant rube from Romania, he's playing a pedophile. He's playing Gio, this character. So he talks to this concierge in the Las Vegas hotel, and the concierge sets him up with this pedophile ring. They'll say, hey, yeah, we can get a boy to your room. No problem. And then the actor, Sacha Baron Cohen, reports this to the FBI, and the FBI refuses to investigate the concierge. They refuse to investigate the hotel. They refuse to investigate this ring. So it's a bit of a confusing story. I can understand how you got it mixed up, but he's playing this pedophile character because he does ridiculous shit like that. And then he uncovers this thing, but the FBI refuses to look into it. And he's got all this on camera, I'm sure, right? He's got hidden cameras everywhere. He's got people following him around. It's not like there's no proof of this. So this is insane.
Yeah, there we go. So there's the clarification. We probably did that sloppy, like we usually do things. What's up, Neil, on Discord? I think that rounds it out. And
let me jump in there real quick to clarify. The footage was immediately handed over to the FBI by Baron Cohen's team. So he did have footage of this concierge saying, yeah, we can procure this kid for you. Right? So he's got proof. It's not even he said, she said. It's footage that was handed over to the FBI. And in the end, the FBI decided not to pursue the issue.
And instead, they're giving this mentally ill kid bombs, inert bombs, to make a move so they can arrest him. Yeah, this is absurd. And what are we paying these people for? What are we paying the damn politicians for? Like, okay, this goes out to anybody out there listening. When's the last time you turned on the TV and the politicians anywhere in any country were talking about something and you were like, wow, it's about time. It is about time. Like, finally, this is something that we've been wanting to happen, that I've personally been wanting to happen. When's the last time that happened to you? Where you actually saw some press release or some tweet or some official something that something good was going to happen. And it wasn't just lip service. It wasn't just trying to pander for votes. It wasn't just any of those things. It was actually, hey, somebody finally gets it. When's the last time? When's the last time?
Never.
Yeah, no. Right? Yeah, never. This is never. This is getting me in a sour mood, Frank. I'm about to go on a rant. Well,
it's a good transition to the next story. When Epstein was arrested, I said, hey, it's about time. So the details of his first arrest were like he was in this luxury prison. He could leave for 12 hours a day. They didn't lock his cell door at night. He was still going on a plane and fly around. You know, it was like a fake arrest. And then they got more details. A reporter, I believe, came out and investigated this guy, got more details on his victim. So they picked him up again. And I said to myself, hey, it's about time. Finally, they're doing the right thing. And then what happened?
Well, they got him. and then they got him again.
They got him again. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they got him and they got him again. Okay, the Copper Mustache, what's up on you, says, so the FBI thinks they're being scammed. No, that's not the point at all. The point is he had actual footage. He had people willing to procure him an underage individual for sex, and he reported it with footage and then refused to investigate. That's the point. So how much, okay, if it's something that serious, how long does it take to give the footage to an analyst to see if it's credible, right? You could probably like spin through it in like 10 or 15 minutes, an hour, if you're drinking your coffee in the morning and, kind of having lazy brain. Like, yeah, like it would take nothing to look into this. They have the footage. They've got all these people with cameras. They've got Sacha Baron Cohen. They're all willing to make statements, obviously, because they turned the footage in. So it like this is a slam dunk, right? Like this is what you would call a lead to an investigator, and they instead refuse to investigate. That's the point. That's the plan. Yeah. Anyway, okay.
You just don't understand. They're spending too much time making schizophrenic people assemble fake bombs in vans and trying to blow up fake buildings. That's what they're spending their time doing. They're just too busy to look through this footage. They're too busy creating criminals out of mentally ill people to look through this footage. Don't you understand that?
Yeah, and it comes down to manpower, right? It's always manpower. Like Epstein. Should we get into Epstein? They said it's manpower. They said they didn't have enough people to watch him. They said they were all working ridiculous amounts of overtime. They said that one of the people that was supposedly watching him wasn't even an actual correctional facility guard. Like these are the things that are coming out now. The Epstein thing. You want to do the Storm Area 51 real quick, Frank, before we jump into that?
Oh, yeah, let's do an update to where did I put that? Storm Area 51 update. We should be in control of this country, shouldn't we? This is happening. Go back, check the archives. We predicted this a month and a half ago, didn't we? You know, I don't like to pat myself in the back too often. We said this was going to happen. We said the next Burning Man, the next festival in the desert would be this alien thing. Maybe it's obvious. Maybe you thought about this is what's happening. They are now transforming, converting this Storm Area 51 event into an alien stock music festival. And good for them. Good for them. But, you know, I think we got predictive powers. We're wasting our time doing this shit.
It's funny when you see these things developing in front of you and watch these news cycles. It's easy to predict. This is not Nostradamus stuff. This is just duh, right? Like you wonder, right? So the amount of people that are controlling our news cycle is what? Like what would you call it? It's like 1/10 of 1% and less than that even, right? Those are the people that are controlling the content. They curate the content for us, which is all trash. You turn it on and it's all trash. It's all narrative based. It's all red team, blue team. It's all propaganda. It's all bullshit. Okay? But then something happens. Like this is a grassroots happening, right? Whether you like it or not, whether you want to admit that or not, that's what this is, and that's what it's become. And first it was dangerous, and we said, well, people are going to die. This is not going to be good, right? And is this a joke? What kind of joke is this? But so many people have actually booked, or what would you say, RSVP'd, or said they're interested in the event. That didn't we say this? I think if you go back to the very first time we talked about this, we said it would probably be more interesting to have some sort of like a concert in the desert or some business. But yeah, okay. So they've actually officially done this now, and I think did I read correctly? I didn't read this particular article, but I heard that maybe Limp Bizkit's going to be there now. Is that correct?
Yeah, like Little Nas is there. I don't know who all these little kids are. Little Nas, I don't know who the hell that is. I don't know who Limp Bizkit is. That sounds, is he a baker or some kind?
Yeah, no, he should have been. They should have been.
Okay.
No, I don't know.
We got another.
No, hold on.
The Copper Mustache says he is so well known. Yeah, go to troubleminds.org. The Discord link is in the top right-hand corner. I don't understand what you don't understand. So if you want to hop on the show and explain it to us, you're free to do so.
Right. What's going on? We got Adrian from Cal Fire. Literally did FBI Files Volume 1 and abandoned the topic. Whether they're lying or not, it still exposes some truths. I don't understand.
I swear that they want us to look into these FBI files to try to get us to say things that there's something suspicious going on here with the commenters. I'm not schizophrenic. You're not going to trick me into blowing up a building. I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah, same here. Not happening. So we have some commenters that continually bring up that one episode about the FBI files, Volume 1. Go back and listen to it if you want. It's becoming infamous, I guess. But check it out. I'm gonna do this right now, right here on stream for everybody. If you just type in FBI.gov, let's go to Google actually. Just go straight there. Actually, here we go. I got to cover it because no, we're good. FBI.gov, right? There you go. There's your website, FBI.gov, and you click it, right? There it is. And if you notice, there's all kinds of stuff up here. There's most wanted, there's news, there's what we investigate, there's services, and then there's resources right on top. You see that? You click the resources. And they have all kinds of different things in here. Most requested forms. It's all here. This is where that information came from. So if you're trying to fool us into blowing up buildings or stealing actual FBI classified files, this came from a public website, from a government public website. So there you go. There we go. For posterity and for the people that keep asking us to do part 2 of that, I don't understand the fascination, but okay, all right, there it is. You can find them right there on the FBI website yourself. Oh boy, well, what's going on?
Yeah,
what's
some things
on,
they just make you suspicious because honestly, those FBI files. You go to the vault.fbi.gov. That's the website. You can click there, click through them. Most of them, they're not really that interesting because it's just like the CIA vault. They both have vaults where you can get publicly accessible information. There's definitely some stuff interesting in there. That's for sure. However, it's thousands and thousands of pages long. That's the issue. It takes a hell of a lot of time to read through them. And most of it, for example, let's go to some of the alien files they released. I'm thinking in particular about saying the aliens could be contacted by radar. They were insubstantial beings. Remember, there was like a big 20-page document saying something like that. That wasn't research the FBI did. That wasn't research the CIA did. That was some letter that some crazy person wrote into the FBI letter in their files. So it wasn't like an official document. It was just some guy writing a letter to the FBI, and they said, okay, well, let's put that in the FBI vault. So a lot of the stuff in there is misleading. A lot of the stuff in there is contradictory. It's flat out wrong. And I'm not saying it's not interesting, but it's difficult to read through thousands and thousands of pages when most of it, well, let's say half of it, is kind of silly. It really is silly.
Yeah, there's a lot of... So if anything ends up in there that seems ridiculous, it's because it ended up there because it seemed ridiculous, right? But you see what I'm saying? It's not because it was an actual lead. It's because it seemed like there was a whole lot of they got information from some joker that said reported that he heard secondhand that this guy got abducted by aliens and it was a this or that, right? And then so they didn't know what to do with it, so they just filed it and there it is. So Adrian, what's up? He says we're talking about the vault. You guys are acting suspicious, not wanting to talk about it. What's there to hide? They're public. I still don't understand. Are we? Whatever. Okay. So there we go.
Again, let's make the same offer. Yeah, let's make the same offer. Troubledminds.org, the Discord link, how we're communicating now, is in the top right corner. Click that, hop on the show. If there's a special part of that document you want to cover, tell us about it. We'll look into it. Or you can even bring it on the show. You can join the show and you can talk about it. We can ask questions. We can discuss the details, get chat's input. So that's an offer. It's open to anyone.
There you go. So we're not the goal here isn't to be suspicious or to hide from any of this. It's just that, of course, we don't know everything. So like Frank said, there are probably millions of files that are public. And so, it's impossible for us to know it all. So if you do know things we don't know, we'd love to hear it. There we go. And again, like Frank said, it's reaching out to everybody. Excuse me, because that's how we learn. That's why we do it live. If again, how many times have we said this? If we could just read a script and then put it up, we would do that, right? But it's a lot less fun, and then it's a lot less interactive, and it's a lot less educational because we don't get to learn anything from you guys. So okay, anyway, where we go. There we go. I was going to shout some people out.
I wanted to add something onto that. To quote the great Alex Jones, I'm kind of a retard. And I feel the same way. I don't know everything. So if you can hop on, you can explain it, or you can point out page 27 in document number 117, paragraph subsection C. If you can point these things out, that would be helpful. I'd love to talk about it. But honestly, it's difficult to read through that much stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. Todd, Ingrid, Michael, Bill, Ace. Hello. Thanks for being here. If I missed you, I didn't miss you now. Okay, so, all right, so we want to do this. What time is it, Frank? We got, want to do normal time? What do you want to do? You want to just shut this down and then just maybe want to do it Sunday? I don't know. How you feeling, man? How are you feeling? You're the East Coast guy.
Up to you. I don't care. We should cover Epstein because there's a bunch of new stuff that kind of came out, new details, all these little incongruities they add up, and it's again go back to the reason we put those two stories at the top of the show: engineering schizophrenic criminal refusing to investigate things. There's no wonder he's dead. There's no wonder there was all this incompetence, ineptitude, all these things. There's no wonder. I'm not even surprised by it. If you look at what they do, you look at the history, you look at their effectiveness, they're either intentionally retarded or even worse, they're just incompetent. They don't even know that they're that bad. What's going on here?
Well, I think we have a new level of incompetence, and it's again right. This is why I freak out personally when we're saying, well, we should just let the government take over everything, right? The healthcare, this is only like slightly political, so bear with me for just a second. Let's say the healthcare, the energy sector, they're going to save the world, right? They know the best things for us. And then in a prison where you have the highest profile perpetrator in the entire world, the guy supposedly tried to commit suicide several days, a week prior, and they're supposed to be watching this dude, right? Like, couldn't you literally just zip tie his shit, his hands and his feet, down to the bed and then bring him in a liquid diet and he'd be fine? He wouldn't be able to get away. You know what I mean? Like, strap him up. Like I said this before, Hannibal Lecter style.
Whoa,
right?
Whoa.
Come on. I'm just
I got
saying.
a question for you. And this is a good discussion topic. Do you have the right to die? I think it may be a little bit morbid. It may be a little bit hard to think about. Do you have the right to die? So if I cut off both your arms, I cut off both your legs, I pulled out your tongue, got rid of your eyes, punctured your eardrums, and strapped you up to some kind of device that kept you fed forever. Do I have a right to do that? Does the government have a right to do that? Does the government have a right to keep you alive when you want to die? Even someone like this, even Epstein, as good as it would be for him to spill the details and to get everything off his chest, have the last confessional, so to speak, I think the guy has the right to die. So strapping him down to a gurney and force feeding him, that's too much for me. Even though he's a horrible person, even though he's a criminal, even though he has the details to break this whole thing open, forcing him to stay alive is disgusting.
There it is, guys. There it is. There it is. You finally saw the soft side of Frank. There it is. Okay. No,
you know what I mean?
That's not what I mean. I mean, torture is one thing, right? But I'm just saying, of course, I was exaggerating with the zip ties and, the bunk bed or whatever was going on. But shouldn't there be a way to restrain somebody in such a way? I mean, haven't you heard the term like a rubber room, right? Why do you put somebody in a rubber room, Frank? Like, what's the whole point of that? What do they exist? Is that a real thing? Or is it just in the zeitgeist? Is it something that doesn't exist and we just say it exists? And if it does, why does it exist? Why do you put somebody in there?
Yeah, there's definitely rubber room. So put someone in a straitjacket, put them in the rubber room, and they can't do anything. They can run into the walls all day. They can't do it. Like, honestly, if you want to kill this is going to get us kicked off the internet, but if you want to kill yourself, you can just take your teeth if you really want it. If you're really desperate, you can take. Yeah, and your wrist and chomp and you can do that.
No, you can jump off a cliff or walk into a busy street. I mean, there's 10 million ways you could off yourself, but that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that if you have somebody in custody and they are actually a threat to themselves, isn't there an easy way to handle that and not give them like a bed sheet and a bunk bed? You know what I mean? Like what? Okay, and so we're not ignoring you guys. What's up, Ace? I've got a secret for you that apparently you don't know. The government already does have their hand in and control everything. They already control healthcare and especially doctors. Okay. All right. Thanks, Ace. Thanks you're going to make me walk into the street. And then Paul says, y'all fell for Epstein's death. Ha ha. We're going to get into that. So there's a lot of contradictory stuff here. But my point is that if somebody is so obviously in danger as either like a political hit, right? At the highest level, this guy has information that he could take down people at the highest level of the most powerful government in the world, right? So, of course, not only should he be protected by some sort of I don't know, right? More than suicide watch is my point. That's my point.
I get your point. Rubber room, straight jacket. You can't do it.
You can't do it.
There's no way to do it.
You can't do it. Like, think about how easy that is, right? Okay, even if they just put him in his room with a straitjacket, how about that? And you rolled in every couple hours and you let him take it off and stretch out, and then you put him back in it, right? Do 10 pull-ups and you get the shit back on, you know? Like, I'm just saying, is that cruel and unusual? I don't know about that. Like, if he's going to kill himself, well, isn't that cruel and unusual to allow him a bedsheet and a bunk bed to kill himself? Anyway, okay, all right.
Maybe. I don't know, though. I think ultimately he has the right to do what he did, if he did do what he did.
Okay, I think
maybe putting him in a straitjacket, maybe tying him down to the bed, that would make him less likely to testify. That would piss him off, and he'd be like, "Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me," kind of thing. That's what I would do. So maybe they're trying to keep him happy at the same time as keeping him locked up.
Well, okay, let's see. Let's just look at this. Let's pull this stuff up and look. Here we go. All right, so this is reported from the New York Post. Talking about Epstein and the suicide. And here it is. I'm going to link this. Here's the headline. Check this out. This was August 10th. Suicide supposedly nearly impossible at, it says ULTA. It means ultra secure Jeffrey Epstein lockup. There you go. There's your typo in full effect on the New York Post. So again, right? So the highest profile perpetrator in the world, supposedly one of the highest security, ultra secure facilities, prisons, correctional centers, whatever they're called. And he still is able to get away with this, right? Assuming this is suicide. I hear you guys. I hear you. This is a conspiracy show. We will get to that. All right. We will get to the Bill Clinton in the blue dress. We will get to that. Yeah. So, okay. You follow me, Frank. So I wonder, this is something to look into, and I'm going to look into this. If this information is even public, do they have rubber rooms at this facility, right? If you have mentally ill people who would do harm to themselves, shouldn't you put them in a rubber room? And then, like, feed them with, they don't get forks or knives or anything like that. You give them, like, chicken nuggets or something that they could eat on a paper plate. And that's it, right? Like, that's it. Like, they get their water in, like, a little cup. And, you know what I mean? In a little paper or plastic cup so they can't, like, shank themselves with it. It just, it seems ridiculously easy to me to prevent somebody from murdering themselves if they're, going to try that. It just, it really does. If you want it to happen, right? Anyway. I tell you, if these FBI informants in the chat, if they ever find us in the real world, we'll be in a rubber room in no time, and we'll be there forever, So just on the basis of what we say on the show. So I think it would be easy to do this. It would be easy to keep them alive. You and I, and even people in the chat there, we could spitball ideas all day. They did this on purpose. So again, we're kind of just discussing the topic in general, but they definitely did this on purpose. They put him in a place he could be accessed and killed because he didn't commit suicide. Let's be honest. He definitely didn't. But they could put him in a place to prevent all this from happening, and they chose not to. Now, whether they did that from absolute incompetence or whether they did that to get rid of him, that's kind of the issue up for debate. Yeah. So, okay. And so there's tons of theories. Here we go. Tamron, what's up? Says, I'm so confused with all these theories. Is he dead or not? Was he hit or not? Is he on some island somewhere? Okay. And me personally, this is me adding to that. I've heard that he's on a plane headed to Israel, right? Because that Israel wanted him out. And so there's so many things going around the internet with this. And so obviously, they all can't be right? They're all not correct because they're all completely divergent storylines here. All of these things are not true. And so the bottom line is what is true? I don't know. And so we're remember, I've said this a lot. I'm going to continue to say this as we do this. If you watch the mainstream media very closely, they kind of tip their hand on what they're trying to cover, right? Because again, the amount of people that are actually running the news cycles for us, the 24-hour news cycle, is very minuscule. It's a tiny amount of people, like a dozen, right? Or like 30 or 50. It's an unbelievably small amount of people. And so if you watch very closely, I do still believe that you can kind of take from the shadows of their reporting what the truth is. And I'm not claiming I know the truth. I'm just saying let's keep a close eye on what they tell us and how it evolves, because it's funny, right? When it first happens, there's this story, and then the story changes, and the story alters, and right, everything changes. 6 months later, there's an official story, right, and all that other crap is thrown out, even though these exact same mainstream media sources reported this stuff, right? You see what I'm saying, Frank? It's like they expect us to forget. They expect our actual memories to be 24 hours long, and they're controlling this. It's okay. So we're gonna
I think you're being a bit generous there, because look at that Las Vegas shooter, Stephen Paddock. Nothing ever came of that. There was no official story for that. All those I just washed under the rug, and they expect you to forget about them. They expect you to ignore them. So I don't even think there will be an official story for this. They'll just assume that you're too stupid to pay attention and forget about all of it. Great comment on YouTube here. Adrian, he says, he or she, I thought Troubled Minds was about UFOs, not this intentional distraction that has everyone looking stupid. That's a good comment. Now, let me ask you a question in return. If you can't expect the government to tell you the truth about someone committing suicide, someone being murdered, if you can't expect to get the truth on that issue, there's no fucking way you'll ever learn about UFOs. Give me a break. It'll never happen. So these issues, like Epstein here in particular, are symptoms of the larger problem. They're symptoms of this lack of transparency. They're the symptoms of the horrible news media. They're symptoms of this government cover-up. And all those issues are what's preventing you from learning about UFOs. So they're definitely worth talking about.
Yeah, and this is a conspiracy theory as well, paranormal. I mean, it all kind of ties in. So this is a top of the news cycle, and like I said, if you pay attention to the news cycle, you can see. I truly believe you can see what they're trying to cover up by what they say and how they say it. Basically, okay. Let's motor through this. All right, so that was the first one. They say it was supposedly impossible. Okay, so and let me ask you too, Adrian, and anybody else out there, what are they trying to distract us from? What is this Epstein distraction? Because right, people are saying that they're trying to distract it from the raid Area 51, or they're trying to distract it from I don't know what else. What else are they trying to distract us from, Frank? What else is going on?
They're not fucking distracting me from a goddamn thing. I can keep 10 thoughts in my head at the same time, and I'm kind of retarded. You can think about 15 different things at the same time, no problem. So this whole issue, it's a distraction. They're trying to distract you from this. Bullshit. You can read about whatever the hell you want. You don't have to listen to this. You can go read about UFOs right now if you so choose. So it's a meme. It's a dumb meme that people post around. What is this a distraction from? No, if you don't want to listen to it, if you don't want to pay attention to it, go pay attention to something else.
Well, not just that. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that we end up in this situation where the mainstream media plays their games with each other, right? Like I said, there's red team, blue team. And so they end up doing this game and trying to distract each other from their own talking points. But anyway, like I get that part. But then the rest of us, just like Frank said, we don't have to listen to this shit at all. So what is the overall distraction from? So he's dead. He's not dead. Is that a distraction? He committed suicide. He didn't. Is that I don't know. Anyway, please explain. Please elaborate. What do you guys think? Is this what are they trying to distract us from with all this? Because if you even try and find the details or the timelines or any of this stuff about this suicide, you can't. Like they've already, like Frank said, they've data dumped the shit out of this. It is gone. Like this stuff is flooded down to the bottom, to the dregs of the Google search engines, and of course to the bottom of YouTube. Right? Again, do you think the algorithms are doing us any favors? Of course not. Even though some of the conversations, maybe if you hate this one, fine. But we've had some pretty good conversations on this show, and we said some, we have our moments where we say a smart thing here or there. And so, do you think people wouldn't want to hear this? I think people might. And so, because you can't talk about this shit around the water cooler. They call you a kook. Okay, anyway, so this next one, we're going to go CNN. Because
let me jump in there real quick. Let me jump in there. We are pretty salty tonight. That's addressing a comment in the chat. Yes, we are. You picked that out nicely. Now, actually, I think this is a distraction. All this news coverage, all this data dumping, all these contradictory stories, all this press coverage is a distraction from the fact that we should get someone, listen to this and tell me if it makes sense. We should get someone with more than 3 brain cells in their head to stand up and to ask these guys questions in a press conference. Why was he allowed to be in the cell by himself? Answer the question. Cheat to hang himself. Answer the question. Why wasn't he in a straitjacket? Answer the question. Why were the guards on overtime? Answer the question. We should have a press conference. Intelligent questions are asked, and they're directly forced to answer them. What do we have instead of that? All this garbage dump bullshit media that doesn't tell you anything. That's the real distraction. They're pretending to inform you, and they're not really doing it. This is a facsimile of news. It's not news. It's just random bullshit.
I agree. And yes, I am salty, and let me tell you why. Because my audio drivers are all fucking broken. And every time we try and do this damn show, it's different, and it pisses me off. So there you go. That's why I'm salty. Okay, but anyway. All right, so let's just motor through this real quick. Well, let's go to our regular time, Frank. I don't want to keep you up till like 5 in the morning. So maybe another 30 minutes.
Doesn't that make sense, though? Pardon me for let's just have someone who's decently intelligent ask obvious questions and broadcast the results on television. Isn't that the way to solve this issue? It seems to me it is.
Yeah, but they're covering it up. They're covering it up. And so this is what I'm saying. Just do a damn Google search and look what's going on, right? And like I said, there's 10 different theories about what's happening here. Did he actually commit suicide? Was he murdered by his cellmate? Was he somebody allowed to go in there and beat him down and whoop his ass and murder him? Was it fakes? Did Mossad and Israel get him out of there on a private plane? Was his body switched with a body double of some guy they beat down prior to? And then he's out on his private island. You see what I'm saying? There's a ton of this stuff going on. But again, they all can't be true, right? They just can't be. Anyway. All right, so this is live, right? We do this live. And I am extra salty tonight, so you're welcome. I recommend extra water to wash the salt. And so otherwise, if you want to be part of the show, if you think we're... you think whatever the fuck you think, call us, get on the show and tell us whatever the fuck you think, right? The phone number's down because everything's broken, but I'm salty because this audio stuff, it pisses me off. I had a Windows update and it broke like most things, and I'm salty about that because I have to fix it all. It takes time to fix it all, and all this takes time, and so yes, I'm salty. Anyway, whatever the fuck you think, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link on the top right. Get in here on the show and tell us what's up. And we'll be nice, right? We're salty with each other. We're salty on the show, whatever. We'll be nice to you, promise. Okay, so anyway, here we go. Basic facts. The CNN. What do we got? The CNN article. Should we just dump this? What are we going to do, Frank?
Don't click on CNN. I don't want to be lied to. Don't click on that.
All right, whatever. All right, I don't know. What's up? Nikki, Ingrid, what's up? Nikki says they knew he was a suicide risk and they did nothing to prevent it. Yeah. Right? Like I said, oh no, so much overtime, right? We can't hire extra people with all the money we're hemorrhaging, right? We're borrowing money at an unprecedented rate and we're giving it away to third world countries, right? We're giving it away in foreign aid at an unbelievable rate and we're borrowing more from China. But we can't pay some extra overtime or get some extra help from a correctional facility elsewhere in the county for the highest profile perpetrator in the world. Wow. Now it's a money thing. Now money's important, right? No. You're right. This is okay. I don't know. Let's shut this down. Again, I'm too salty to do this.
No, we got to continue at least until the regular time. This is one of these events that wakes everyone up, right? I think everyone is looking at this and saying, "What the fuck is going on here? Come on now." A JFK level event where they're so flabbergasted by. Again, here's the theories: ineptitude let him kill himself. Someone murdered him, or they escaped. They engineered a fake body and they let him escape. Those are the three theories. So as we look through the evidence, keep those three theories in mind. So one of them, it's got to be one of them. Which one? I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, me neither. And there we go. Adrian from Cal Fire. What's up, buddy? There goes Mike Strange distracting us with CNN BS. All right. So this show is for you. Right? This show's for you. This show is for anybody that thinks that I'm a mainstream media talking piece. Try and call Don Lemon and get on his show. Yeah. TroubleMinds.org.
Oh, yeah, by the way,
click the Discord link. You can get on the show right this minute. 60 seconds it would take you to get on the show. And transparency is what it's about. Go ahead, Frank. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, you call someone Fredo when they freak out, right? No, this actually would have gone into aliens. I don't know if we'll have enough time. Reptilians and satanic rituals and all this kind of stuff. We probably won't have enough time for that. That'll be the next show. So stay tuned for then. Let's hit the major points. Let's hit all these crazy points like the screaming and the cellmate and all this. Let's run through them real quick because we got to cover this. So, New York Post, Epstein lawyers told him that his cellmate roughed him up. What's this about?
Okay, so this was the previous suicide attempt. This is the New York Post, and so they say that again, remember, this is what they say happened, right? This is what the mainstream media is reporting. So I think if we have a little bit of discernment, we can tell what's actually happening if we pay close enough attention. So anyway, Epstein told lawyers that cellmate Nicholas Tartaglione roughed him up. All right, so we'll just burn through this real quick. That's what they said. All right, there's the headline. Next one. Here's a photograph you see of this individual right here. This up, yeah, it's up. This is what he looks like, right? This is one photograph of him. Here's another. This was Epstein's cellmate, right? Like Epstein, who's probably never seen his gym in his life.
You know, yeah, Mr. Fredo there. He's not going to kill me. He's going to be friendly. Look at him with his friendly dogs. He's harmless. Look, all those cute little puppies. He would never hurt anyone, right?
Yeah, no, of course. And not only that, so let's click back to the other ones. So he's got a German Shepherd there. He's a dog lover. And then here he is. He's got all these little puppies. I don't know, man. Like that wife beater's like bulging on that dude. Like Epstein has spent 0 days in the gym in his life, and this guy has spent 364 out of, his entire life in the gym. And yeah, so this was a supposed cellmate. And so, okay, now this is the thing, right? So with particularly pedophiles, when they end up in these correctional facilities, isn't there like a code among criminals where they, they come after the pedophiles, right? Isn't that true? Have you heard that? Has anybody? How about this? Has anybody out there actually been in prison and can confirm that? It's one of those things in the zeitgeist. I've heard it, right? It's like Godfather talk, like not actually in that movie, but you know what I mean. So if this is the case and they actually come after pedophiles, and this big yoke mofo is in the same cell with Epstein. He's world famous, Epstein. Everybody knew about this 10 years ago. So, I don't know. Did he get his ass beat by this guy? I don't know. Anyway, go ahead, Frank.
This guy was he was an ex-cop too. So, and he killed people, right? An ex-cop murderer. So, I think as well, maybe that's why they were together. But yeah, come on. This is suspicious. Like, I can easily see someone going up to this guy saying, you want out a bit earlier? You know what you got to do. You just go over there and do that thing. And you can get a year off your sentence. And this guy, big motherfucker, he'd definitely do it.
Yeah. And so not only that, maybe they do, like they're like, no. See, we murdered people that can defend themselves. You were taking advantage of, babies that can't defend themselves, right? Is that a code? Anyway, if you know anything about this and I'm off base, troubledminds.org, click the Discord link, get on here and tell me. Tell everybody listening. Because this, again, this is not just us right now. This goes to a podcast and everything else. So, if you have information on this, fine, cool. We want to hear about it. That's why we do it live. Okay, so here we go. So there's the big yoke mofo. He has Epstein is unconscious when they find him. The first suicide attempt. This guy's his cellmate, and he apparently tried to hang himself with this guy in the cell. Is that correct?
I don't think he was in the cell. Again, these details are so loose and so nebulous. So how about we have a goddamn press conference? How about we get, I don't know, choose someone, fucking Joe Rogan, some idiot off the street. Just grab a random person off the street and give him the details and tell him to ask the questions. Because I've heard he was in the cell. I've heard he wasn't in the cell. I've heard the guards were checking on him. I've heard the guards weren't checking on him. There's no details. And all of them are fucking lying to you. Let's go to this next one. New York Times. Oh, there's some good information. Jeffrey Epstein death. 2 guards slept through the checks and falsified the records. You can't even write this. If I were to sit down and try to pen a conspiracy, try to make it up, I don't even think I could do it. I wouldn't imagine the guards sleeping through and then falsifying the records. Like, are these guys fired? Are they still working for the system? I think that'll be the ultimate tell a year from now. How many people involved in this have been fired and how many people still have their jobs? because if I was running the place, everyone would be out.
Well, not only that, here's the problem I have with that. So if you say that that's the tell on, well, we know heads will roll, right? Well, but if they were, if this is some sort of a conspiracy, and they paid them to turn the other way, well, somebody came in and whooped his ass, or he was allowed to kill himself, or whatever it was, or they switched the bodies, or whatever you want to figure here. He's no longer in custody. That's the fact. Right? That is the fact here. And so whatever you want to believe about what happened here, there, or the other thing. So even if heads roll and everybody gets fired, right? Like the people that were most closely involved are most likely the folks that were involved in a conspiracy, if there is one, right? So if they get fired, they were probably paid to fall asleep or look the other way or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway, like I said, incompetence or conspiracy, I don't know. So there you go. Falsified they pencil whipped the books to make it look like they checked on them and they didn't. All this overtime. Oh, the overtime, this government overtime is so hard. I'm just making the paychecks like ridiculous. My 60th hour this week. Ugh, I got to walk over there and look at Jeffrey Epstein in the fucking window again. God, man, life is so hard, right? Get out of here, people. Get out. Like this. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. Okay. Anyway. All right. Let's keep on trucking, friend.
Let's hit the next one. CNBC, another great source of news. Jeffrey Epstein had broken neck bones. Now, I've looked into this a bit because this seems like a real detail. This seems like a detail you could look into, you get some information out of. So there's this bone in the neck. I can't pronounce it, but it breaks during certain times. So way back in the 1500s in medieval Europe, you're on stage, you got the noose around your neck, and you got this platform underneath you. And when they pull that platform underneath you in these public hangings, you fall down like 3-4 feet, the noose tightens, and this bone in your neck breaks. But in modern cases of suicide, you never really fall, right? There's the stool underneath you. Maybe you fall like 6 inches. That's it. This neck bone doesn't break as often. However, when you strangle someone to death, when you murder them, this bone breaks more often. So I don't know. I heard probabilities here or there, but it's something like 30% of the time in these hangings in the modern day, this bone breaks. Whereas 90% of the time in stranglings in the modern day, this bone breaks. So looking at those statistics, it's more likely that he was strangled to death, if he's even dead, because, we're coming to that in a second. He could still be alive. But based on the kind of statistics here, it's more likely that he was strangled to death than he hung himself, especially with a tissue paper bedsheet.
Yeah, again, where's the rubber room, right? Where's the zip ties? Where's the handcuffs? Where's the things that will keep him from trying to murder himself when he previously reportedly tried to murder himself, right? Tried to suicide himself. Okay, so there we go. Yeah.
This detail points towards strangulation more so than hanging. Anyway, okay, what else do we got here? Let's open up. Did you really put the onion.com in here?
Yeah. No, let's go to the Onion first. Let's go to the Onion. Hold on. I put the Onion. All right. So on that, here we go. Let's do the Onion right after that. So this is a good one, right? This is a good one. And so, yes, I put the Onion in here. And so, how funny is that? I linked it. This is the headline. Epstein guards placed on disciplinary leave for allowing self to be distracted by mischievous monkey that stole keyring. Right? So like
I
Frank
can
said,
believe this more than the official story. Let me tell you.
That's what I'm saying.
I can
thought it was
believe
funny.
this. This is ridiculous. The Onion this is more realistic, that a monkey snuck in the jail, grabbed this old timey key ring and was scampering around. The guards were chasing him, and then Epstein offed himself. I can believe that more than this overtime bullshit. I know people who work these shifts. They love overtime. They can't get enough overtime. Give me a fucking break. When you're earning time and a half on time and a half, you eat it up. You work as much overtime as you can. So again, this whole story doesn't make any sense to me. And this is a more likely scenario.
Yeah, no, and this was kind of the point for bringing this up. Like, everybody out there has some sort of like facepalm conspiracy stupidness to this. And so I'm not saying that there's no validity to any of that. But again, one more time, I'm going to say for the 5th time, all of those things cannot be true, right? So there's some amount of truth here. And I think, like I said, maybe it was a monkey stole the key ring. Okay, anyway. Yeah, I did put the onion in here, Frank. All right. Okay. Come on, man. You put from I don't know. I won't call out your dubious sources sometimes. But okay, all right. So mischievous monkey that stole the key. The article's funny if you want to read it. Okay, but all right. So then what else? So okay, so then there's the screaming, right? Let's go to crimeonline.com, right? So actually hold on. There's hold on. Here we go. So this is reported by theindependent.co.uk. Again, anything from the UK is good by me because they make the best tabloids in the world. And this is shrieking and yelling were heard coming from Jeffrey Epstein's cell on the morning of his death. It has been reported, right? People nearby heard a commotion characterized as shouting, shrieking, and yelling. The broadcaster cited unnamed sources. Here we go, right? Unnamed sources. The world sure as hell runs on unnamed sources these days, doesn't it? It's like a gigantic fuel for the fire. Unnamed sources, I tell you what. So, okay, who added that guards at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York had tried to revive the alleged sex trafficker, who apparently had been dead 2 hours at that point. Anyway, okay, so there we go. So we got shrieking and yelling coming from the cell from an unnamed source. Now, let's go to the next one here, which is...
Well, wait a minute. Again,
wait.
Look at the shitty quality of this journalism. They don't tell us whether this shrieking and yelling was before he was dead or after he was dead. They say it was the morning of his death. Was it before his death or after his death? I think they say, breathe, Epstein, breathe. And that was after his death. But what about the shrieking and yelling? Was that before or after? It seems like must have been before if they really killed him. And after, I can't imagine the prison guards going in there and shrieking and yelling. Well, maybe shrieking and yelling, shit, I'm going to lose my job. Shit, fuck.
Oh, shit, there goes all that sweet overtime that I was sleeping, gobbling up. Yeah, no. Yeah, okay. All right, so yeah, no. You're right. So, but it's an unnamed source, right? So it's uncorroborated, unverified, and they don't have a time frame. Of course, right? It's just the day of, right? So that could have been like 12 hours after the fact. Who the hell knows, man? And this is part of the problem. And these are the things that are hitting the internet, right? Have you guys ever... I mentioned data dumping. You want to explain that, Frank, real quick? What's data dumping?
Yeah,
and why is it important to us?
They flood everything with nonsense. Like, let's say you want to learn how to buy a piece of property. They'll tell you, oh, you got to go talk to this fellow over here. Oh, no, you actually got to go talk to this person over here. Oh, no, you got to go to the city council over here. Oh, no, you need to talk to this tree in the woods and pray in front of it. So they'll give you, it should be a simple thing. I want to buy this piece of property, but they'll give you 17 different ways to do it, only one of which works. Maybe not even that. That's a dumb analogy, but you get the point. And especially in this Epstein thing, that's exactly what they're doing now. They're flooding the market, flooding the media with all these contradictory pieces of information. Unknown sources say this. The FBI says this, blah, 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 blah. There's no way to get a cogent narrative out of it. You just can't pay attention to it. It's all over the place. And again, this is why I would love to see a press conference with someone, maybe someone in the chat here, smart people, asking questions, and they have to answer, right? What happened here? You have to answer. Why did you do this? You have to answer. This kind of thing. That makes so much more sense than this media misinformation.
No, it's these unnamed sources. These unnamed sources have run the media cycle for, I don't know, decades. And this is bullshit. It's all leaks. It's all fabrications. It's all crap. And that's the problem, right? So here we have one says there was screaming the day of his suicide. They didn't say if it was during. They didn't say it was before. They didn't say it was after, to Frank's point. But here we go. Now, this is a Crime Online. I did link this. And it right here. Former cop inmate, a few cells down from Jeffrey Epstein, heard nothing the morning of suicide. But lawyer says he has information about convicted pedophile's death. Report, right? Now, this guy in prison says he didn't hear anything, but I tell you what, I've got some information. You want to give me some reporters here and give me some press? I'll tell you, maybe they'll spring me earlier, right? What do you mean?
Yeah,
whoa,
definitely.
whoa, whoa.
But I thought this guy was his cellmate, Nicholas Teratagulin, Fredo here. I thought he was the cellmate. So why was he a couple cells down now? So in one story, he's the cellmate. In this story, he's a couple cells down. He's not even a cellmate. See what I mean? It's impossible to learn anything from this bullshit.
Yeah, because it's all crap. It's all over the place. I didn't even realize this was the same damn ex-cop guy. I thought it was somebody a few cells down. So I've also heard, I didn't pull it up, but I've also heard that this particular individual posted bail the morning of or the day before, and they removed him, right? So, shit. Again, right? Data dumping. This is what it's all about, right? So what are they trying to make us believe? What if you think this is a distraction? What is this a distraction from? If any of those things, right? Live show, troubleminds.org. Click the Discord link. You can get on here and tell us right now. All right, so let's keep on motoring through this. So shrieking and yelling from one source. This other source, who is apparently this yoke cop that probably beat his ass once or twice, says that he heard nothing. And he was in his cell. Now he's a few cells down. So we have it's all over the place. There's no narrative. There's no anything here. It's just a bunch of garbage at this point. All right. So, all right. What else we got? Anything else notable in here, Frank? There's a bunch of other BS that I pulled out. But
you put in Snopes here. I got to hear why you would ever put that website in. What's
okay.
with this?
Now here's
conspiracy
why.
on Snopes.
Now here's
Jeffrey
why.
Epstein body double explained. Go for it.
Now here's why. Okay, you're in the same vein as my buddy Adrian on YouTube. You think I'm like a deep state plant? No, look. All right, here we go. Check this out. So the thing it's been going around, and some of you have seen this if you've been paying attention. It's been on our Discord. There it is. And I thought, wow, I wonder what the official story is on that, right? So they have the Epstein photographs where they have him leaving apparently on the stretcher when he's perished, and yeah. So there we go. Here's I'm gonna just zoom in. You can see that you photograph yourself, and so here's the conspiracy theory goes like this, right? They say that the ears are like a fingerprint, and then so if you just take his fingerprint when he's alive and when he's dead, his ears are completely different. His nose has changed. He looks more like Roger Stone than he looks like Jeffrey Epstein. Right, this sort of thing. And so, right, again, I'm not crapping on that. I'm not crapping on this, but I am crapping on Snopes because I wanted to see what the official narrative was. That's why, Frank. So here we go. So here's the official narrative. They're saying, of course, that you can't take a picture from 10 or 15 years ago and then compare it to a person who's been dead for a couple hours, is what they're saying here. And so they're shitting on the band Foster the People, who shared these following messages on their Instagram and their right, because they're conspiracy theorists, right? They're dirty conspiracy theorists. They're criminals and terrorists of the internet, right? They have to mention them in this article. But here we go, right? So do you know anything about this, Frank, about the ear thing? Is it actually like a fingerprint? Does the cartilage in your ear never change with aging? Is that a thing, or is that not?
I don't know this. I'm not an expert, but I will tell you something. Notice the words I said there. I'm not an expert. Now, if you read through this article, what they've done here is they've said he got older, therefore the comparison's invalid. And they don't get an expert to quote they don't get an expert to look into the details. They don't say, hey, you doctor over there, come write a little expose on our website. They don't do that. They just go to the Functional Anatomy Research Center, copy and paste a couple of paragraphs, put it in the article, and call it a day. How about we get a coroner? How about we get a mortician? How about we get someone who's seen dead bodies, who's seen people aging? How about we get someone like that and have them write a little piece for this article and say, actually, that's not the case. Or, yes, I see that all the time in my practice. Why don't we get an expert in here to give us these details? So this article, did they even say false in here? Yeah, I think they do.
Yeah, of course they did. Of course, yeah. I didn't expect
this
that.
This is bullshit. This is complete and utter horseshit.
Frank is triggered now.
There's no, pay a doctor $1,000. He'll come on your website and he'll say, yes, this is a possibility, or no, this is not a possibility. Like, what is this? Is just fake. This has no bearing in reality, and people cite to it as something notable. Fucking ridiculous. Who's that? We got the Joe from Florida who could give a better take on this than anyone else. He runs a mortuary, right? So this is absolutely ridiculous.
No, and then so the only information we have from the coroner at this point, at least from the mainstream media, is they're saying that they have that broken neck thing. That, like you said, it seems more like a strangulation than a hanging. So, yeah, it's all over the place, right? There's not a single narrative is my point, but I wanted to see. This is why I check Snopes, right? Because they are definitely the deep state, the mainstream media, them in like factcheck.org and some of these other ones where they definitely have grotesquely obvious political biases. And I wanted to see what the actual, how they can like compartmentalized it and said, all right, this is what really happened. And they didn't. They didn't. You know why? Because they don't have information. Because the information is all over the damn place. Yeah, no. Okay, anyway, there you go. That's why I brought up Snopes. I'm not a deep state plant.
Let's entertain these pictures for a bit, though, because they are pretty interesting. So, look at the nose. We'll do our rudimentary analysis here. Don't take it seriously. And if you in chat, you got comments, you want to join the Discord, please do tell us about it. Let's look at the nose. Okay, so there's wrinkles on his face. When you die, I can imagine your muscles relax, the wrinkles go away, right? The same thing. That's why I use that botulism or whatever toxin to get those wrinkles out. But the nose, there's definitely a hook nose on one guy here and not so much on the other guy. I don't think dying or getting older makes your nose droop down. I don't think so. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't think so either. So, or would hanging yourself, maybe taking the blood out of yourself, because your nose is cartilage, right? The size of your nose, if anything, grows, right? It seems like in this instance, maybe it's shrinking. Is that correct? It seems like it's actually smaller. It's curved inward instead of pointing outward. But yeah, okay, there we go. There's rudimentary novice analysis on the nose.
Second thing I'm seeing here, they didn't highlight it with the pink or purple on this thing, but the second thing I'm seeing is the brow ridge. Like the Neanderthals got that huge bone jutting out from above their brow. The Epstein alive, it's very smooth. There's a bit of a bump, but over on Epstein dead, it's huge. You got that big hunk of bone up there. And the eyebrows, the position of the eyebrows is even a bit different in relation to the, I don't know what the anatomical word for it is, but where the nose kind of goes into its furthest depth. You see what I'm saying here? So the brow ridge is different. You can tell right away. I don't think aging changes your skull that much. Surely when you're a kid it does, but not when you're 60 years old.
Right, from say from 50 to 60 type of thing. All right, and then so here's another notable thing. It's not actually pointed out in purple here, but look at his cheekbone. So on the left side, his cheekbone sits quite a bit further down than the cheekbone in the dead picture, right? So it's kind of like a bump. It's bulbous. Maybe it's some sort. Maybe whacked himself. Clunked his head on something in the act or whatever. But I just don't see it, right? It's not even the same cheekbone, unless like a huge contusion, right?
Yeah, I'll give that a pass because when you hang yourself, all the blood gets trapped in your head essentially. So that could be like a bruise, that could be swelling, so I'll give that a pass behind that one in particular. Although you could be right. Again, what the fuck do we know? Why are we even talking about this? Why did Snopes not hire a mortician? Why did Snopes not hire a doctor, a coroner to say yes, to say no, or to speculate like we're speculating now? Why did that not happen? It seems obvious. This is a joke. This is really, it's a joke.
Yeah, it's a joke. And then so notably, we'll stop talking about Snopes now. But Emin has been following this pretty closely, and he says that the photographer goes by the name William Farrington. And so explain to me how this happened at 4 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. They're wheeling him out, and they have a photographer from the press taking a picture of him. Was he waiting outside again? Right, this whole thing. Was he tipped off? Was he just waiting outside? Do these people wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and just wait outside correctional facilities to get photographs of these things? You know what I mean? And there's that. So if this is a plant, then that photograph seems suspicious to me. That's suspicious because, and Emin adds, the dead Epstein photograph is William Farrington. There was a Roger Farrington who's a CIA photographer, and maybe the same person. So the photo is more likely fake. And so the thing is, right? If you look at the social media of the William Farrington, it's scant. There's almost nothing out there, right? So you figure if you're a photographer, even like Jeffrey Epstein's pilot, that guy, he had an extensive Instagram and photographs of all the exotic places he flew around the world picking up children to take to Pedo Island, right? He was so brash, he's just putting this shit out there. But if you're a public journalist and you're a photographer first and foremost, don't you think you'd have a pretty gigantic Instagram and social media following? Right? Suspicious a little bit.
This whole thing with the picture, it's like that Roger Stone arrest. It's just a coincidence that CNN is outside his house waiting for him to be arrested at 4 o'clock in the morning. Just a coincidence. Don't think about it too hard. This is ridiculous. Final note in the Snopes article, I don't know if you still got it up, but the ear is definitely different. I've been staring at that as you were speaking. The ear is completely different. It really is. You don't change the shape of the ear. There's like a bump here where there isn't a bump, and this is, I'm sure the ear is like a fingerprint more so than the nose, more so than the face. Uh, if I had to, if I, again, I don't want to say one thing or the other authoritatively. I don't want to like convince you of one thing or the other. If I had to bet my own personal cash, I'd say those two pictures are not the same person.
Yeah, and again, look at the ears. Like I said, we'll do some in-depth analysis in the coming days about the ears and if the cartilage actually changes or not. I'm sure this has been studied for ad nauseum. Like it's like the fingerprint, right? How did we figure it out? By looking at one and the next and the next and the next and the next, right? That's how we figured this shit out. And so somebody's done this. Somebody's done the work here. And so why haven't they cited that source? Why haven't they talked about these things? Anyway, whatever. Okay, so yeah, I'm with you on this. Whatever. I also want to point out real quick. So there is the Black Vault one here, Frank. So Epstein in what was he? He convicted for sex crimes in 2008, right? So there's an actual FOIA release on the blackvault.com. Our good buddy, who's not really our buddy, but he just doesn't know it yet. His name is John Greenwald Jr., and he does FOIA requests, Freedom of Information. So there's a bunch of information here that has been actually released based on the previous, what do you call this? This is basically, so he was convicted, and he was given that, whatever they call it, the sweetheart deal, and he was allowed to spend 12 hours a day away from the jail and, still continue his whatever the hell he was doing. But there's a lot of information in this file here. So I want to link this and point this out, that there's probably more actual factual information in this link right here that I just put up than there is on any of the mainstream media reporting, right? Like you said, we go through this. The New York Post says this, CNN says that. Of course, they're opposites, right? They're red team, blue team. I get that. But then you go to some of these other conspiracy sites, and they're saying all this other whack shit. Like, what the hell's actually going on? I don't know. Did you get a chance to look at any of this, Frank?
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think we've said this several times on the show over the time we've been doing it, is exactly as you said. You will find more information in these FOIA request documents than you could ever hope to find in the mainstream media. But the issue is they're dry, they're boring, they're 1,379 pages long. It's difficult to go through that. It's difficult to take the time to go through that and actually read through it and put it in context. It's so much easier to click on CNN, so much easier to click on Fox News and get their hot take on it. But if you really want the information, if you really do care, this is where you got to go. You got to go to the source and skip out all the bullshit in between. I don't know. Why have we lost that as a people, as a society? Have we lost the willingness to go through the books to read? Here's a segue for you, and I wonder what you think about this. And I'm not going to make any friends by saying this. More and more, I see people reading books through audiobooks. Listening to an audiobook, listening to someone speak the words for them. Audiobook sales are going up. Regular words on paper, they're going down. So I wonder if we've lost something, if we've become stupider. The only way to parse information now is to have someone read it to you like a little fucking kid. We can't even do this anymore as a society, is to read through actual FBI documents. We have to have someone read it to us like we're children. What do you think about that?
No, I think you're right. I think it goes back to 1984 and George Orwell and the Ministry of Truth. That's exactly what the point is, right? Like we said this several times. We'll continue to say this. At least I will. Is that when you have a book that's written and it's on your shelf, that book is static. It never changes. But I tell you what, if you take that book and you give it to somebody else, aren't they allowed to, what would you call it? Maybe give a artistic flair to their reading, right? Maybe redact this or add that. Would you ever know? How would you ever know? You would only ever know if you read the damn thing, if you were some sort of archivist, right? If you actually went through and line by line said, wait a minute, they left this out. Or wait a minute, they added this. Would you know? I don't know. I don't think you'd know. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, and you know what? We don't have the attention span to find out, because despite the link we just showed, I wonder how many people actually click on it. I wonder how many people read 5% of those 1,379 pages. I think no one does. I don't even know if I'm going to do it. I don't even know if I have the attention span to click on that link and read through it. It's right in front of me. I just got to move my mouse over just a little bit and click on it, and I'm probably not going to do it. So the education system has poisoned us, and that's why we want the hot blonde chick on Fox News telling us what to think instead of actually looking for ourselves. There's something sick with society.
Yeah, I think that's even an understatement. Okay, so this is about the normal time we end this. So let's wind this down. If you let us know, like, this is the thing, right? This is a show that is done about society, right? It's done about conspiracy. It's done about paranormal. It's done about UFOs and aliens, and also propaganda, right? And we talk about the technocracy and all these other things. But if you want more of this or less of that, right? Like we tried to make a really wide berth so we could talk about all kinds of things, because I think if you only talk about aliens all the time, or you only talk about ghosts all the time, or you only talk about the mainstream media all the time, you end up just another stooge. And I think it's important to talk about all of these things, because they're all important, and they're all part of this, what would you call it? What do we live in? Is this a simulation, Frank? They're all part of this simulation, I'm going to say it. And so by leaving some of this out, right, I think it's criminal. So I think we need to talk about all of it. But if you think we need to talk about only a little bit, we want to hear from you. Please let us know. Join the Discord, troubleminds.org, top right, click the thing. It says Discord right there. You cannot miss it. If you can read, you can find it. And that's it. Get in there and tell us what you think, because it's important. It's important to us. It's important to Frank. It's important to, hopefully, all the rest of you, that we all get together and talk about these things and share the information and talk about what we should be talking about, because this is the rare chance, right? Think of it this way. This is how I like to think of it. This is a dumb show. Frank says, we're morons, and I agree. We're two morons on the internet. I agree 100%. Except, right, with your help, we have a rare instance to create our own narrative, right? In spite of what the media tells us to think, we have this rare chance, and we're welcoming you. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter if you're red team or blue team. It doesn't even matter if you think we're idiots. We don't care. We want to know what you think. Would you please just come join the Discord, troubleminds.org, click the Discord, get in there, share your links, share your thoughts, share your philosophies, share the way you see life, because it's important. You might point out something to somebody else that changes their life. And there we go. That's what this is about. Anything else on Epstein, Frank, before we wind this down?
Yeah, because I'm on the red team, I want to share this link here. I put it in the main folder. Epstein had, and we talked about this earlier, Epstein had a bizarre painting of Bill Clinton in a dress and heels in his townhouse. We got to look at this to finish. Because think about this. Think about the presidents of the early days. You know, before there were defamation laws, before society was so bureaucratically controlled, before all of this nonsense. Now, I'm not too good on my presidential history. I don't know the guy's name in particular. But when you insulted a president 100 years ago, you know what he did? He pulled out his fucking gun and he challenged you to a duel and he shot you. How many times did that happen? Maybe you're more familiar with the history than I am. That's how people acted. That's how leaders acted. You insult a guy, he pulls out his gun and he shoots you. Compare and contrast to what we're seeing on the screen right now. Is this not humiliation? How could Bill Clinton let this happen? He should have had a team of CIA Blackhawks go in and burn the fucking building down. You know, look at this. I don't even know if I'm explaining myself too well, but this is sick. That's not someone you can respect. That's not someone who demands or commands respect. This is someone who's so caught up in this filthy system that this painting proves it to me. If he had it hanging on the wall in his house, this painting proves it to me that he was so caught up in the machineries of what was going on that he lost control. And so this makes me suspicious. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton. Okay, now look, this is the thing. If you look at this, this is an actual painting, I believe. This is not an actual photograph of Bill Clinton in a dress. But it is okay, so let's say Bill Clinton is not a lady man. I didn't say a ladies man. I said Bill Clinton is not a lady man, right? Like, parse the words. And so if that's an affront to you, and this guy's your friend, right? Either he's in on the joke or he's not, right? Bill Clinton would have assuredly seen this, so maybe there's an inside joke there. I don't know. Again, who the hell knows?
There's a cooperation. Let me tell you, if I was the president, oops, I accidentally shot a missile at the house this painting was in. Oops, that was what would happen, right? I wouldn't stand for this. I wouldn't stand for this rich guy. This is like a taunt, isn't it? I think that's where I'm going with this. This is a taunt. Hey guys, come over to my house. Oh, look, here's the most powerful person in the world, the former president of the United States, and I've got a painting of him in a dress because he's my bitch. That's what I see when I look at this.
Yeah, it could be.
Do you get where I'm going with this?
No, I agree with you 100%. Again, unless these guys were good friends, right? So like that, not to be offensive to you, Frank, everybody relax, nobody murder me, but Frank and I are pretty good friends. We've known each other for a while. Like maybe for gags, like years down the road, I have a painted version of this of Frank, right? Like just for lols, right? I would never do that because it's stupid, but it's not my kink. But you get it, right? Like people have bizarre relationships, and so it's impossible to really parse that. Is kind of my point. Anyway, so yeah, no, I get you that if this is like Bill Clinton's my bitch, fine. I understand. I would be right offended, except this guy's providing Bill Clinton his bitches, right? And I mean that in the most victim way. You know what I mean? Like, it's terrible. But that's I don't know. Anyway, there's some sort of inside joke here. I'm sure of it. It's just anyway. There you go. So there's Red Team Frank. There's Red Team Frank. I've linked it if you guys want to.
You see how history has changed. Yeah, definitely. You see how history has changed because if George Washington had this situation happen to him, what would he have done? Honestly, think about this. What would happen if George Washington had this? He'd round up a fucking posse and he'd burn this guy's house down. That's what would happen. Now, cut to today. Oh, it's all okay. It's funny. It's a joke. Ha ha ha. I don't find it funny at all.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I don't know. Again, like this is the problem, right? So you got to realize too, like a normal person is not like a multi-millionaire, right? Or billionaire. It's not. It's like there's literally a complete and utter disconnect between the things that they want and do, right? Right, like one can get anything they want, and one aspires to things that they want, right? And they have to work hard to get them. Like it's literally like a broken dynamic trying to compare people like that to regular people, or trying to match them with some sort of regular set of ethics. You know what I'm saying? It's not. There's no way in hell they act like normal people. And so that's why there's it ends up being these secret societies, right? Because they end up wanting things that regular people could never even consider having or doing or thinking or being. These, yeah. And, there you go. Monsters, right? The monsters rule the rest of us. And, there we go. There we go. Oh shit. Okay. So, let's end this, Frank. Let's end this. It's late. It's, sorry for the technical issues. Again, would you please let me know? I asked this once before. Did anybody get a major Windows update in like the last 3 to 5 days? Like a major one that like broke all of your audio drivers? I want to know. And I mean that sincerely. Did it happen to anybody in Windows 10? That's what I run. Did it happen to anybody, or is this like a deep state government plant on my shit? Because everything broke. I mean, that's
Chi-Coms are after you.
Yeah, or whatever, right? I don't care. Like, kick my door in, fine, whatever. But like, that's what I'm saying. Did anybody else get a huge Windows update that fucked up some stuff? Because I asked last time, nobody said anything. I'm asking again. Please let me know. Frank, did you? You use Windows 10, yeah?
No, I turn off updates. I'm not letting them update my computer without my permission.
Of course you do. All right. Anyway. Damn it, Frank. Always 2-3 steps ahead of me. Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's, how are we going to finish this, Frank? This is done. We will be back Sunday night. We have a guest lined up. They probably won't be here Sunday. They'll be here next week. It's going to be good. It will be probably somebody you guys, many of you guys have heard of, and hopefully there will be more beyond that. So, stay tuned. We love you listening. We love talking about this stuff. We think it's important. I think it's important. Frank thinks I'm an idiot, and he's an idiot. And I don't care. Whatever. It doesn't matter, right? These are words, and words mean something. And here we are, speaking these words. All right, Frank. Let's end this bitch. What are we going to do?
Yeah, let's
How
end
are we
this.
gonna end this bitch?
Just as a final note, let me say that I think what we've covered today is a case study. It's a microcosm of the misinformation going on in society. You'll never learn about the reptilians. You'll never learn about the Anunnaki. You'll never learn about UFOs or ghosts or whatever else, because this is all misinformation. It's a tightly controlled narrative to tell you what to think. Like, again, think through what we've covered. It's all contradictory. One person says one thing, another person says another thing. There's no straight answers, no transparency, nothing. And so you look at a very unique, very simple, very straightforward situation like this, and they corrupt it beyond belief. So you'll never get answers. And it's unfortunate. And this is the problem. I think the media and transparency are the two largest problems in society. And they're the things standing in our way from learning the truth about everything else. And if we could somehow correct them, somehow fix them, the world would be such a good place. This is the issue. And so when we talk about this, it's not aliens. It could have been aliens. We'll cover that next time. Reptilians and rituals and all crazy shit. This is the issue. If we fix this, I think we fix everything else.
Yes. Some of that, yes. Other stuff, Frank, you're off the rails, my friend. But okay, yeah. It's this is yeah. There we go. So what is this? Which outro, Frank? Pick 1 to 3. Push a button here.
2.
All right, there we go. So that's the outro. That's the show. Frank has great points. I don't know. I'm salty. I'm angry. I'm really pissed off that when I reboot my computer next time, this shit might be broken again. Even though all the settings are right for right now, this is the things that are happening to me. And so there you go. Anyway, there's my mini rant. Go ahead.
I'm pissed off. They're lying to us in plain day, in plain sight. If you read enough, they're lying to us. There's no argument about it. They are lying to us. And everyone's eating it up with a silver fucking spoon. This is ridiculous. And the state of things is terrible. Let's just tell the truth. Let's get good information out there. Let's be transparent.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%.
Government positions shouldn't be too hard.
No. And you see, right? They're all working together. The mainstream media, the government, all of it, right? The major corporations. This is all a cabal against us. And that's why we do the show. We think it's important to talk about. And there we are. We're at the end of this. And, of course, we'll be back Sunday night, 9 p.m. Actually, we'll discuss offline. But, yeah, okay, 9 p.m. Sunday. And we do have a guest lined up and on the way. Maybe not Sunday, but sometime next week. So stay tuned for that. And let us know what you think. It's important. troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. Get in there. A lot of the things we talk about are links that you guys post. A lot of the things that we turn into shows are discussions that happen there. So if you haven't done that yet, that's where most of the stuff goes down. There's a lot of smart people in there and a lot of speculation. So there it is. As for right now, you're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and I'm here with your co-host, the magnificent Frank Pierce. Thank you for listening. From our Troubled Minds to yours. Have a great night.